Great, thanks, Jonathan. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Paul Willis. I'm the Chief Development Officer for Manchester Airport Group. So I'm responsible for development across our airports. I'm responsible for procurement, the property team, and also our assets. So I'm going to focus on Manchester Airport, but before I do that, just a few words about Manchester Airport Group. So we're the largest single airport operator in the UK, completely UK owned as well. And we operate with three airports. So we operate Manchester, there's a clue in the name, in Manchester Airport Group. So we operate at Manchester Airport, London Stansted Airport, and East Midlands Airport. And really the focus of this conference is all about an interchange and the social mobility and airports. And I think all of our three airports lend themselves to that they're not just an airport with a 3,500 metre runway and a terminal building to the side of it. It's much more about the broader campus and some of the things that we offer. It would be remiss of me at a conference, given that we're in the first year post-COVID, not just to say that thank God that traffic has recovered and aviation is real back in recovery, and a very, very strong recovery. As a group, we finished our last financial year, so 31st of March. We finished on 55 million passengers, so around about 86-87% of pre-COVID levels. And certainly the outlook for this summer and going forward is very strong. So we'll be back to pre-COVID levels. So that's excellent news. A little bit about Manchester now, because I am here just to talk about the Manchester Transformation Programme and how that then relates to some of the broader investments that we're making across the campus. Just in context, though, we operate at the moment with 48 different airlines supporting both short haul and long haul. And also, quite a high percentage of business travellers. And Manchester operates to 185 different destinations across the globe. And MAG Group itself employs 7,000 people across its three airports, around about 4,000 employees at Manchester across its three terminals. And if you look at the total employees on the Manchester campus, then we've got about 18,000 employees currently at Manchester. So look, let me tell you a little bit about our exciting transformation programme. It's really in two halves. So it is an overall 1.1 billion investment. It's going up all the time with the inflationary pressures that we've got. But that first phase was delivered in July 2019. Not a great time to open your terminal when there's no traffic, right in the middle of COVID. But, we were 90% through that first phase of development, and therefore we finished it off. We largely mothballed it during the COVID period. And we're now very much in the second phase of development, which is around about a £500 million investment. And that includes a lot of the airfield work. So we're upgrading our airfield and making the airfield more efficient with more stands, more dual taxiways, etc. Upgrading our baggage system. Refurbishing all of our terminal and check-in area. So those of you who've been and travelled through T2, which I hope most of you have been, but if you haven't, get the chance to get up there, you will see that we are...
Could you make the announcement that someone's left their car engine running? We've been told to tell it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I've just got an announcement, so I sound like a real airports person now. Bing bong. There's a silver Mercedes Registration number Echo Uniform 66 X-Ray Kilo Hotel has left its engine on. So look back to the transformation program. So this second phase, we've also got a pier that we're building. We're developing a new security hall as well. So those of you who are aware of airports and aviation, I can see Jane in the audience and Kat. So they certainly are aware of the programme. There is a new future security regulation that's coming out which requires us to upgrade all of our passenger security equipment. So in the next 18 months, when you go through the airport, you won't have to take your computer out, you won't have to take your laptop out, you won't have to take your liquids out of your bag. So that's some work that's going on. And then on top of that, we are also reconfiguring the old terminal and bringing it up to the same standard. And with all of that and that increase in passenger volume that we're expecting, so, today we are operating at around about 23, 24 million passengers. This programme will allow us to grow then to 35 million passengers, and that does mean that the road network and road infrastructure also needs to be upgraded. So what does that mean for Manchester once we've completed? That programme is due to run and be delivered by summer 25. So summer 25, I'll have a brand new Terminal 2. That allows Manchester to move its campus from a three-terminal campus to a two-terminal campus. And what that does allow is the major development between those terminals. And this is why the conversation and this conference is quite important, that it's not just an interchange. It does have a social hub. And we have the opportunity then to integrate our airport city. So the airport city is a 60-acre development site within the airport boundary. And that's well underway at the moment. There are a number of hotels which we are topping out in the next 6 to 12 months. And that has a whole range of development opportunities. So, that is bringing people to Manchester, not only to go on their holidays and to travel for business, but also as a place of work, which is secondary to the overall airport operation. A few stills, you can't get away from some of the architectural images of what the airport is going to look like. So our new check-in hall you can see there with a shoreline configuration and upgrading of the facilities. Retail, a new retail environment as well. So a really exciting programme. It's on an accelerated programme. And as I say, we finish in summer 25. Just to give you, from a Manchester Airport Group point of view as well, and from a development point of view, we are very confident, and our shareholders are very, very confident, not only in the aviation recovery, but also in our airports in the UK. And over the next 5 years, we're investing £2 billion in our airport infrastructure at Manchester, Stansted, and East Midlands. So a little bit about some of the benefits and some of the broader benefits, and this point on the agenda in terms of the conference is about the social aspects, but also as well as some of the economic and broader economic aspects. So we are committed to a CSR commitment, so our commitments around our corporate and social responsibility. We look at investing in education, so from a whole primary school all the way through to apprenticeships and also graduates coming into the airport group. So you can see there 1,500 students will be employed through this programme. We're generating 500 additional employees just through the construction alone. We are a very, very strong sponsor in terms of apprenticeships as well, and we have a broad apprenticeship programme. And you can see the broader economic development that we think we can bring with not only the airport transformation, but also the airport city. And that culminates in around about 6.3 billion of economic contribution to the northwest, which is really, really key. In terms of Manchester and the broader catchment, our catchment area, reaches out to around about 23 to 25 million people in a catchment area of 2 hours of the airport. And you'll see the benefits with HS2 and the benefits of Northern Rail. That catchment area will only get bigger, and the connectivity that we would have for Manchester would improve. This little graphic, just a master plan, which really just identifies that the Manchester Transformation Programme, when we finish in summer 25, that's not the end of the story. We have a long-range master plan which looks out beyond 25 years. And ultimately, that would allow Manchester, so from where it is today, around about 25 million passengers, to have that growth to 60 to 65 million passengers. And it does mean that we would then redevelop the Terminal 3, which is Ryanair predominantly, and short-haul low-cost terminal. We would be developing that terminal to a new terminal. So that would all be refurbished. And the connectivity then between Terminal 2 and the Terminal 3, I spoke to Jonathan earlier, we are going to rename them. It will be Terminal A and Terminal B going forward in the future, just to avoid some confusion. But between those terminal areas will be the opportunity also to develop commercially as well. And you can see on that drawing, we've already located the HS2 station and its proximity to the airport as well. So that's pretty key. In terms of rail connectivity, sort of longer term, and what that means in terms of our catchment area and increasing the catchment area, we are very, very supportive, obviously, of HS2, but also Northern Rail as well. So HS2 really, really good for north-south connectivity, but connectivity east-west and west-east is challenging. Anyone who lives in Leeds and tries to drive to Manchester or vice versa is a lottery of how long it's going to take you to drive on that journey. So rail connectivity, I think east-west is really key, and really key to the development of the airport. I mean, currently today, just as a stat, I was asking my property team, our train station, which is linked to T2 on the Skylink, at the moment that handles around about 4.5 million passengers. So 4.5 million passengers travel to our airport by rail, which I think is quite interesting. So 25% of our total passenger volume are using the train station, and that can only increase with HS2 and only can increase with Northern Rail. So look, they're the highlights. Hopefully you're as excited as I am about the transformation programme, and more importantly that aviation is well and truly back in recovery. We're back investing in airports. Is a major sector to the UK, and it's a major sector for economic growth. So we're really excited as a group, and I look forward to your questions later. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul, and appreciate you stepping in on the public service announcements. That was a one-off. We've got a couple of minutes, so I was just going to ask you a couple of questions, if that's all right, before we move on to Jonathan. Given the audience and the theme today, it'd be good to touch a little bit more on Airport City. Obviously, my background in sort of real estate and development project that I was involved in the past as well. How's that kind of linking into the plans that you've talked about in terms of the airport development, and what can we expect to see in terms of that campus?
Yeah, no, look. Turn it on, is it just? Hello? Yeah, great.
Very good.
Yeah, look, the airport city, absolutely integral to the airport. The airport city is part of Manchester Airport's overall campus. So it's not an airport city that's connected sort of 3 miles down the road. It is very much integral to the development. As I mentioned in the sort of overview, we've got 60 acres of development. There's probably about £1 billion worth of development opportunity there, and a whole host and range of development opportunities from logistics to advanced manufacturing to biotech to hotels and F&B. And what you'll see in Airport City, particularly in terms of hotel stock at the moment, and also some digital industry development, that is all well underway, and that construction is ongoing. And look, we'll continue to develop that. And as I mentioned, the programs and secondary programs like HS2 and Northern Rail will only support the airport city. Manchester, is not, there isn't a lot of development areas in and around Manchester and in the Manchester city centre other than the airport. So it's a prime opportunity to redevelop that area.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.